Move on to the newcomer to the conference, the Oregon Ducks. Their win total is set at 10.5. They're plus 200 to win the Big Ten, minus 400 to make the college football playoff. They're plus 600 to win the national title, all on Bally Bet. Oregon is making a jump to the new conference, but immediately have high expectations. I'm intrigued to see them do a big noon kickoff at 9 a.m. their time. What's your outlook for the Ducks this season?
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see if that happens or if they're, a little bit more forgiving with the time zones. But based on how the sport is run, where it's all about TV windows, I wouldn't be surprised if they get some early kickoffs,
Mhm.
whether it's at Autzen Stadium or maybe when they have to take one of their Midwest trips later this season. Oregon's another team that just they're all in. We talked about Ohio State a little bit. Oregon's another team that's all in. They're taking advantage of all the NIL rules. They're bankrolled by Phil Knight, who's their big booster and the founder CEO of Nike. So it's pretty nice when you have the Nike checks coming in, and he's kind of at an age where he said he wants to win a title and he's getting older, so he's making sure that they are getting every opportunity to compete at the highest level of college football. They have a young, energetic coach who happens to be an ace recruiter in Dan Lanning. He's winning a lot of these battles if you're following the recruiting around the country, going all over the place, really, which is kind of crazy because Oregon, tough place to get to for a lot of kids, but they're selling the program to a lot of these kids like they used to do. And Lanning has definitely hit the ground running with recruiting, and they're also adding players in the transfer portal and making sure their roster is supplemented, and wherever they think they might have a little bit of depth issue, they're filling those needs, and they filled those needs this spring. This offense, I think, is going to be really good. The big newcomer this season, quarterback Dylan Gabriel. He's from Oklahoma, or was just at Oklahoma, transferred to Oregon. I don't think there's going to be too much of a drop off between him and Bo Nix, who went 12th overall and is in the NFL, but not going to be too much of a drop off with Gabriel running an offense that's really friendly to him, and he has a lot of weapons around him. And then defensively, Dan Lanning, the head coach, he's a Kirby Smart disciple. So he knows how to coach defense. So the defense should be ready to go. In terms of the schedule, I think it's pretty favorable for the first season of the Big Ten. They have 5 true home games. They have 4 on the road, but one is a West Coast trip to a UCLA. And then they only have 3 trips to the Midwest. It's really key here that they get Ohio State at home, in my opinion, October 12th. Make sure to circle
Yeah,
the calendar
huge.
for that game. Going to be an awesome game, maybe game of the year in terms of regular season. And then their other tough game is a trip to Michigan. But I'm a little bit down on Michigan, so I think that won't be too much of an issue if Oregon plays up to their potential. So Oregon is a bye team for me. Win total 10.5. Not really interested in that because there's not much margin for error there. But I do think they're live
Yeah.
plus 200 to win the Big Ten, get to Indy, get into a rematch game against Ohio State, and if you have that ticket plus 200 or better on Oregon to win the Big Ten, maybe you could hedge out of it, take a little Ohio State. But I think just in terms of getting to the Big Ten title game between the talent and the schedule, Oregon's a really strong bet to win the conference for me.